Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on PALWORLD. In this video, I am going to show you the top 11 fastest tames inside of PALWORLD. And it's actually a little bit shocking because some of them you can get almost immediately early on, all the way and kind of ride them in the early level 30s. And a lot of these are end games. We all know what number 1 is overall, but some of these might shock you just a little bit. And they're actually pretty useful because some increase your inherent movement speed. So there's some cool boosts, but I'm gonna start going backwards from number 11 to number 1. And let's go ahead and get started with this. I'll show you some of the speeds by riding them at the end comparison wise. But for the ones at the beginning, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the actual PAL itself. So anyways, let's get started. So the number 1 PAL, I guess number 11 on our list, but where we're going to start with is actually Quiver. Now, Quiver overall is a really neat tame because it can be gathered really quickly. You can see that it's got a natural habitat if you go over there, but the boss fight can be found in the early area. And it's really useful because its saddle can be unlocked at level 36. Now, the Quiver, it'll actually increase your damage dealt as dragons, and then it also flies really quickly with a rather good overall move speed. It basically increases from the Nighthawk. It's probably your next upgrade from the Nighthawk to get into the Quiver, ranking at number 11 on our list. Now, next, a little bit actually easier to get because the saddle is unlockable at level 33. The Hell Zephyr is a thing that you can grab. It's obviously number 97 overall. It is something that spawns at nighttime. So during the nighttime, it's actually a common spawn in this region. It is incredibly useful because it actually increases your dark damage to your mount as well as some of their, if you want to breed them, they can get some of the speed boosts for that, for the Wings of Death. And it's a very useful thing overall. So that comes in at number 10 on our list. A little bit easier to get because the saddle's unlockable at level 33, but Hell Zephyr is number 10 on the list. Now, next up on the list is actually a little easy and hard tame to get, the Suzaku. Now, Suzaku as well as Suzaku Aqua on this list is kind of like our 9 and 8. And I'm not going to keep clicking between them because they make that terrible noise, but it actually will increase your fire damage or water damage depending on which one you get. Their saddles are unlockable at 40 and 43. And they are overall really, really useful because they increase that speed just a little bit above the ones beneath it. And it's not by much, but it's a little bit. They also have a more endgame approach because they have better statistics overall. They can be a little bit more tanky, and they can also fire off some really good base abilities. So the Suzaku come in at number 9 and number 8 on our list. Number 7 is actually something that you can unlock pretty quickly as well, the Beacon. Now, Beacon is like one of the early game electric pals that you can get that I just like skipped past it. I think I did. I went the wrong way. Maybe I didn't. But Beacon is a early game electric flying machine of death. It's super fun. It's one of the early things that you unlock. The habitat, just so you can see, is over in this region during the nighttime and the daytime, so it doesn't matter. But Beacon can be gathered from that northern side. You can get them right around level 35-ish. The actual, this is kind of like our next tier up, if you want to think of it that way, because this is where they actually increase the fly speed compared to the last few that we've talked about. This is the next upgrade in your ability to fly. Now, this is going to increase your player's attack if you have it in your inventory, as well as it gives you the ability to, you can see this, electric damage to the player's attacks while mounted. Pretty neat. So if you're shooting off a weapon, you can actually do the double damage with the electric attack on the Beacon as well. So super useful thing in general. Now, directly next to this is another one of the really powerful ones, Ragnarok. Ragnarok has the same fly speed as a Beacon. And again, it does the same thing. However, it applies that fire to the stuff as well. And their habitat, just so you can see them, is right around the actual kind of lava island, if you want to think of it that way. But these two are very similar, that Beacon and the Ragnarok, because they both apply those special damages. And they can get some pretty good statistics for actual flying. And they're in that next speed boost, and I'll show you what in this tier that I'm kind of describing right now, what the speed difference is compared to the next one up in just a second here. But the Ragnarok is pretty cool. Also coming in on our list, before I freeze to death, I'm going to go ahead and put on my PAL armor. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and show you the next one in this category too, even though it's technically one of the hardest things to get in the entire game, the Shadowbeak. The Shadowbeak does not have a spawn unless you get lucky and find it up in the upper tier 3 zone, And the shadow, or breed it, you can technically breed it pretty easily, but it does have, you can see, flying mount, and it enhances dark attacks while it is mounted. It doesn't apply one of those abilities. However, it's really quick. I'm going to go ahead and show you how fast the Shadow Beak is compared to some of the things that you might be riding in the lower levels. The Shadow Beak has an inherent ability to go faster on the ground as well as in the air. You can see that there's quite a big difference for it. I'm kind of just cruising around on it, and what I like about the Shadow Beak is it's considered a small PAL, so it can fit through literally all of the caves. You just have to like walk with it, and the ability to transfer between flying and not flying at high speeds is really useful for the Shadow Beak itself. It is a nice creature to have access to, and it's kind of like the last one for the last tiers. However, above this tier is a next flying speed tier. Now, this next tier includes a few that you might be aware of, but I'll go ahead and see. I'll go ahead and show you in the actual PAL deck itself. But the Phalaris, you can see fighting together, ice trials drop more, but this is like that next tier in speed. I'm not going to show you the speed on this one because the next thing on the list is kind of like this. It's the third fastest PAL in the game. I'm gonna skip over the Phalaris. Sorry for those of you that like the Phalaris. I'm not a big fan of it because yes, the saddle's unlockable at level 38, but you're close enough at that point to start worrying about things like Frostallion. Frostallion basically allows your damage attacks to apply ice damage, and then it's going to give you that ability. Now, also the Frostallion, just to show you, it's a really cool PAL. Come on, there we go. So the Frostallion is a rideable creature on the ground as well as in the air. You can see that it's got a little bit more speed over the ones beneath us, and you can, I mean, it's quite a bit faster, right? Like this is a significantly faster PAL than the ones beneath it, and it's only comparable to that Phalaris as well as the Frostallion Noct. Those are the three kind of in this higher speed just beneath the overall best PAL in the game, and you can see that this thing will cruise really rapidly when it has the opportunity to do so. You can see that I've got this little thing. It's a unicorn. It's cool. It's really fun to ride around on a Frostallion. And the Frostallion Noct comes in at number 2 a little bit. In my opinion, it feels cooler / faster just because it's got that, I don't know, the cool approach to it. You can also get some pretty good stats boosters on these guys. I'll go ahead and show you. There's my Frostallion. So you can see Ice Emperor Legend, which increases that movement speed. So it's got a base opportunity at Legend, which is huge, and it gives you a little bit of a boost on that one. However, it's not really close. If you haven't had access or gotten the ability to get a Jet Dragon, at level 50 you can make their saddle, and there's a reason that these things are some of the best in the game. You can actually breed them to have really good stats overall. This one has Swift as well as Legend on it, and I'm working on getting 2 more stats in there, and they will actually increase it overall. So this is your slow movement speed, which is just as fast as the fastest movement speed behind it. However, as soon as you kick on the jets for this guy, you can go ahead and fly up in the air a little bit, and boom, it literally goes so fast things don't render in time, which is kind of hilarious, and you can traverse the entire map in a matter of seconds. Its speed is bonkers, plus the base ability to have access to some of the speedier things in the game. It shouldn't be used really for attack, even though it's technically in the top 5 in attack. It is the fastest thing, and you should focus on getting statistics for the actual speed on this guy. So yeah, this is the fastest. It's not particularly close, but the other ones are good examples of things. If you feel like, you know, being a little bit out of the norm or the meta, the Jet Dragon is great, but the other ones can be a lot of fun as well. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you and shows you the top 11 fastest things in PAL World. And other than that, teach.